Machine friends and fans of fun. I don't think we have too many announcements this week. I don't think we have any, really.
Just the reduction on the sale.
We have the 50% off on back issues for like a couple more days, and then it's gonna dip down.
We're killing it tomorrow.
Oh, we're killing. Oh, I guess we're killing it tomorrow. So maybe I'm mistaken. But we do have some comics to go over this week. Yogi's got to run to the mailbox real fast and check stuff. But I will be going over this week's picks. First one is The Clock by Image Comics. If you don't know the first issue, well, it's basically a form of cancer has been transferring to a bunch of people, and they don't really realize that they have it, and it's sort of, I think it's spread through the air or something. But what this issue is kind of finding out is that it's being weaponized, and yeah, this issue is a bit creepy. It's a good creepy story, but I'm not really a giant fan of those outbreak kind of scenarios, even though our world is pretty much living it right now. But it's not a bad issue by any means. The art is definitely on point. I have little to complain about from this. So if you like that sort of thing, it's here. Come pick it up. Next we have Thor issue number 3, and this of course is the Donny Cates run. And I have the Gwen Stacy cover. I'm afraid all of our mainline covers are gone. We've got enough subs that they've taken them all. It's kind of wild. But if you read the last issue, you know that the last issue was basically we saw Beta Ray Bill, and Beta Ray Bill is kind of angry at Thor for accepting the power cosmic from Galactus because, Galactus destroyed Beta Ray Bill's homeworld. So that's going to lead to a fight, and oh god, it's great. I love everything about a Beta Ray Bill and Thor fight. Every single time. I mean, really, every Beta Ray Bill fight is one of my favorite things. He's one of my favorite characters, and seeing him go up against Thor is just so good. Every time. It's so good. And this is no exception. This is honestly one for the record books. So, really, if you're on the fence about getting into the store, you need to jump in. We will have exactly, I'm afraid, one copy, and that's it. Yeah, next is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 39. This is Spencer Coelho, Reber, and if you can't tell from the cover, well, Parker's doing J. Jonah Jameson's podcast. Yes, he does podcasts now, not just radio shows. Well, they're sort of button heads. They kind of can't help but fall back into that old rhythm, even though they're friends now. And, you know, generally what breaks up them butting heads tends to be a villain. That's probably what we're going for in this issue. It was a great issue. I had a good time with it. It's just, you know, it's pretty typical of Spider-Man stuff. So, you know, if you love Spider-Man, you won't be disappointed with this issue. My god, man, I have had, like, legitimately, like, people have come in and they're like, you want coffee? You want some coffee? And I can't say no to coffee. It's in my DNA to never say no to coffee when someone offers me coffee. And I try not to drink it after a certain point, but God help me, I've had 4 cups of coffee today, and I'm about to bounce through time, which is appropriate since I'm holding Doctor Who in my hand. Yeah. So this is the 13th Doctor Season 2. I didn't know they got a Season 2. Do they get Season 2s?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they usually die after a season.
No, they go like 3 or 4 seasons.
Oh, they go 3 or 4 seasons before they die. I didn't know this. I am a total Doctor Who newbie. And, well, this one is really, really good. It seems like the good doctor has found herself in the late 60s, and so she's tracked down an old friend of a person named Martha Jones. I have no idea what any of this means. Literally none of this. But there is another doctor in play that I'm sure is probably a fan favorite that is going to encounter this one.
It's David Tennant.
Is it David Tennant?
Yeah.
Okay, it's David Tennant. Nonetheless, I had a really good time. This is Jodie Hauser, Roberta Ingranata, Enrica Aaron Angiolani, and Comic Craft have done this book, and it's great. But I really, really loved the last series. So, you know, if you love Doctor Who, you will not be disappointed by this by any means. Next is, oh god, this is Hickman, Buffagini, and Go. And, you know, I gotta tell you, as somebody who has never been an X-Men fan, and even though, you know, I've read them, I've just never super been into the X-Men. Hickman has really done it for me, and I realized today that, oh my god, I'm an X-Men fan. I'm an X-Men fan. I can't believe it. I just honestly can't believe it. And what Hickman's done is we all know that he's sort of fixed the timelines and he's explained all the flaws of all the X-Men storylines. And he's really sort of, he's taken people off the table, he's added people on the table, he's made new rules that the mutants have to live by and so on and so forth. And when you're reading an X-Men comic, you really feel like you're a part of that world and maybe like you count yourself among them. And when you're not reading an X-Men comic and the X-Men show up and it's Professor X and Magneto are there, you really honestly feel like they are sort of I don't know what you would say, a counter nation to whatever is going on. You get nervous, you get a little scared and spooked.
Got like a psyops film.
They've done a really good job in that sense. So if you're reading the X-Men comics, you feel like you're a part of what's going on. If you're not reading the X-Men comics, you're a bit, or if you are, but you're not reading it at the time, you feel a bit like they might be working against the world at times. Hickman has done something magical with this. So again, nothing to complain about. This issue is equally amazing, and we're gonna get Mystique in this issue. And more importantly, something that happened on another timeline is going to affect this timeline, and it's good. So if you're an X-Men fan, you're not gonna be disappointed. I 100% promise you, you will not be disappointed with this issue. Next is Batman Pennyworth. Rest in peace. And as someone who is a Batman fan and loves Alfred very much, this is great. It has pretty much the whole family decides to take a night off, and it shows, it shows like Batwoman, the Signal, and pretty much everyone else. Harley. I think it showed Harley at one point, but maybe I'm mistaken. There's definitely Catwoman, but it shows all of them putting forth the effort to take care of crime for the one night so that the family could have a night off and they could talk. So we get everyone put together, and of course, Rick Grayson is not calling himself Dick because he doesn't have his memories back. So he's struggling with everyone else and trying to see what he would do if he were himself in that situation. Meanwhile, everyone else is the same people they always are. Jason Todd is Jason Todd, which is normally a butthole. Damian feels very responsible for Alfred's death. And they all sort of get together to toast Alfred's life. And I gotta tell you, when you get the family together and they start bickering and Barbara Gordon stands up and says, "Look, none of you have a leg to stand on," that's messed up. Right. Really messed up. But she got her point across. It was really, really good and touching. And as somebody who has lost a father, this send-off it's very beautiful. They touch on old stories, remembering Alfred and what he's gone through. And then, you know, if Dick was his normal self, he would be the glue in that situation. Everyone knows he would. He would probably put Bruce back together. And he's still struggling, but he also still is partially who he used to be at times. And you know, that's TBI, and that's something else I'm kind of familiar with. I loved it. I loved everything about this, but again, you know, I'm a giant Batman fanboy, but I loved it. God loved it so much. I loved it so much. So anyways, Batman Pennyworth, rest in peace. It will break your heart, but it will also be very, very beautiful, and you need to go read it if you're a Batman fan. Next is Supergirl. She's still the infected, but meanwhile, Wonder Woman is, well, trying to counter her and trying to deal with the government organization that's sending Supergirl a beatdown for being the infected. And, well, if you think you've seen it all, she just might become a little more sinister.
Saw that last page.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's totally worth picking up, because her new look is way more wicked than punk Supergirl. It's off the charts. So yeah, that alone is worth picking it up. It was a pretty good storyline too. But Hauser, Stott, and Peter, good showing. I had a pretty good time. Oh, X-Force. I don't really know how to talk much about this without spoiling a lot of it, but we know Domino got captured and she got rescued by the X-Force team. At the same time, they ripped off some of her skin to invade Krakoa. Meanwhile, she's noticed that her luck has gone from good to bad. Very bad. Like, she rolls the dice and every time gets snake eyes. She is bad luck right now. But somebody else is good luck and making some insane assassination shots. and she's sure it's because they've stolen her powers. So that puts her on a collision course with it. Yeah, that was probably more spoilers than I should have dropped, but I'm not going to reveal everything else that's going on. There's a really touching scene between her and someone else. It's having a conversation about trauma. It's good. It's deep. The art is amazing. There's nothing to complain about. Percy, Basildua, and Guru Effects, good showing, guys. Again, these X titles are always so good. Yeah. Next is Jessica Jones, Blind Spot, and I have not hidden that I've loved everything about this Jessica Jones storyline. It's spot on. Yeah, Kelly Thompson and Maddie D. Lewis, they are just great at what they do. The best part about this is she meets up with Elsa Bloodstone, who is also somebody who was supposed to be killed and kind of came back from the dead in this story. And they're trying to piece together what happens, but if you know Elsa Bloodstone, you know she's got probably one of the worst mouths in Marvel. Probably. Maybe. I'm pretty sure her mouth is worse than Deadpool's. And that's all in here. It's great. I mean, they block it out with skulls, but oh god, it's good. But yeah, she's still getting to the bottom of it. There's plenty of twists and turns. It's a good story so far. You need to come pick this up if you're a Jessica Jones fan. Next is the Immortal Hulk, and he's fighting Zemnu, which looks like a space abominable snowman, and has a power that is the power of member berries.
Remember?
You remember Zemu? You remember watching Zemu when you were growing up on Saturday mornings? You watched Zemu and he gave you a fuzzy, comfortable feeling? You remember that?
Oh, I remember.
I loved Bionic Man. Remember Chewbacca again? Oh, I love to remember Chewbacca.
I remember.
Clearly Zemu is some monstrous guy that can, he can control minds, and he can also put false memories into people's heads and maybe remove other memories, and it means something wicked for the Hulk currently, so you really need to check this out. More importantly, we don't just have the Devil Hulk in this issue, we have the old Hulk in this issue, and it's awesome. So yeah, it's great, it's awesome, it's nice to see him. I have missed the original Hulk, and you know, it's still the best horror comic on the shelf, and nothing's changed. They've just decided to up the game and make it a little more psychological at this point, and it's kind of twisted. So Immortal Hulk number 31, come pick it up. Next is Venom Island, and this is part 3. This is the wrap-up to Venom Island. But what else do we know? We know that good old Dylan Brock is playing with part of the Carnage symbiote, because that's a good idea. Said no one ever. And Sleeper is a little mad at him for doing such a thing, but Sleeper can't control it because he can't touch Dylan Brock. No symbiote can, because they start to like spaz out and melt or burn or something. Meanwhile, Eddie himself is dealing with Carnage on an island, being very Rambo, and has lost a hand. So, yeah, we're getting a very gritty version of Venom. Now, I will tell you that I really like the story. I never have anything to complain about the story. The art has taken a turn. It's different. I'm not sure who they substituted in. Is it Bagley? I think it's Bagley. It's not my favorite art. It doesn't feel like the other Venom books. I don't know. Something is a little bit off. But it's still a pretty good showing. I still don't have much to complain about. Venom's just an amazing book right now. So come pick this up. Next is a book that I really love this. It's The Spirit of Ghost Rider, Mother of Demons. Do we have plenty of time? I need to know if we need to cut this off or if I need to keep going. It says issue 1. Really, this is sort of a one-shot. Who is the Mother of Demons? Do you know?
No.
So the Mother of Demons is a demon called Lilith. And
like the legit mother.
The legit Mother of Demons. Now, if I would excuse if you didn't know this, but there was an old Bible story where Lilith was the first lover of Adam, right?
The Book of Enoch.
But it has been struck from some versions of the Bible, so some people don't know about that story. That's covered in this. More importantly, we know that, Lilith wants the mantle of Ghost Rider. And, you know, bad news, I would hate to have to go up against Johnny Blaze for that, because he's hard to deal with. Meanwhile, Danny Ketch, we know from Ghost Rider, has cut a deal with, what's that place, Limbo? Yeah, the in-between, Limbo. And he's become not the spirit of vengeance, but the spirit of corruption. And it's pretty messed up and cool. I'm glad they're going this direction. There's a lot of fun in this. So yeah, you really need to come pick this up and see what I saw. More importantly, you're going to see some villains from Ghost Rider's past, which it's hysterical to watch this one in particular suffer. And if you know Ghost Rider's history, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He's just such a goof. And yeah, that's in here. So come pick this up. We're back, and our next book is the Buffy Angel event wrap-up, and that's Hellmouth issue number 5. And, well, there's a lot to unpack. We know from the last issue of Buffy that, Xander has given up his life to empower Willow. And given up what's left of his soul to give it back to her so she could be more one with magic. Granted, she gave him part of her soul to counteract him turning into a vampire, so he was only half vampire. But Xander's dead, which kind of breaks my heart, because the Zeppo is one of my favorite characters. But, you know, we know that this isn't the Buffy from the old TV show. This is a newer Buffy for a new generation, so things are juggled around. But I believe we have a multiverse in play, because it seems there are other reality versions of Buffy. Well, we know from the show there are other reality versions of Buffy. That has been confirmed. But we're going to see them in this comic, and that's a great thing in my opinion. But yeah, the art, again, is on point. The story was awesome. There was nothing to complain about this event, other than the Angel books were not as fun in my eyes, but we're going to get an Angel Spike series. I think it's going to pick up. So yeah, this Hellmouth number 5, you should probably be reading this if you were already on board with it, but if you weren't, don't start on this book. Go back a couple books and start on that, but it was still a really, really great read. Next is Doctor Strange, issue number 3, and of course this is the good old Mark Waid, and then Kev Walker, Java Tartaglia, and wow, man, this Surgeon Supreme run has been amazing. And I wasn't sure about the art, because the last book I think was Jesus Saez, and his art is just to die for. I mean, if I could pick one comic artist to just read his books endlessly, it would be Larez or Jesus Saez, well, one or the other. But man, I gotta tell you. But anyway, so this Kev Walker's art has really, really, really grown on me, and it was just an awesome showing. This particular issue follows a guy who's gotten a tattoo that is actually vampiric and is sucking his life force out, and Doctor Strange has to deal with that. So, you know what you get. This is typical Mark Waid Strange storylines. He will link stuff up, but at times he has Strange go off and do like onesie, twosie things in between like storylines. But it never feels like filler. That's the thing about Mark Waid. I don't know if he sees it as filler, but it feels like it should, like a separate episode of something going on. It's perfect. And this is no exception. It was a fun ride. I had a good time, so come pick this up. Next is Star Wars: The Rise of Kylo Ren. And wow, I don't know what it is. The fact that the movie just ended, and maybe because the movie ended, that they took the training wheels off and said that the comics could go anywhere they wanted. But there is so much from this that we wanted that we didn't get. Do you want to know more about the other apprentices of Skywalker? They're in this. They're in this. Do you want to know more about that training? It's in this. It's in this. Do you want to know about his fall? How about the Knights of Ren? All of that is in this. There is so much good in this. So oh man, if you needed this backstory, which I know most of us did, it's in here. Come pick it up. It's great. It's awesome. The art, again, the art's really, really good. Nothing to complain about. It really honestly feels like they said the movies are over, you can go wherever you want with this, and that's what happened. So, my God, come pick this up. Next is Savage Avengers, issue number 10. And this is, of course, Jerry Dugan, Zerker, and Tartaglia. I just learned Tartaglia's first name. I want to say it again. Java Tartaglia. What a wild name. Do you think that's his real name? That's probably an artist name, right? It's pretty wild. I don't know. So what we do know about the Savage Avengers last time was, the evil wizard has made a play with a fake amulet, with a cursed amulet, and has almost killed Doctor Strange, but then Doom, because Doom was the infamous Iron Man, punches a button, and an Iron Man suit falls down out of the sky and wraps itself around Doctor Strange. So we get a Sorcerer Supreme Iron Man in this issue. Yeah, you get that. You get a lot more comedy in this issue, too. You get an old villain that is sort of campy and fun that I like to see every time. He's very, very distinct, I guess you could say. And you'll know him immediately when you see him. Brother Voodoo's back in this issue. There's nothing to complain about this Savage Avengers run. It's so much fun. I laughed the whole way through. But again, I'm really, really partial to Dugan. So, Jerry Dugan. Dugan? I never know how to pronounce his name. Anyways, I'm really partial to him. So, you get all of that. It's great. It's fun. Come pick it up. Trust me, you'll love it. Next is the Transformers Valentine's Day Special. And, well, I gotta tell you, I liked the special. I had a good time with it. But this new character, he looks like Hound. That looks like old Hound, right?
Who was that?
Hound was the Jeep. He was the Army Jeep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, who that?
Oh, so that character is not Hound. This character is a new character that I don't recognize. I'm pretty sure it's totally new character. Because they have, like, the character development designs in the back. His name is Tap Out. He doesn't transform into a crappy UFC t-shirt. I'm afraid not. That name sucks. But the storyline was pretty good. It's about Transformers being in love and, living their life, living their best Cybertronian life. And you get 2 stories in this. It's nothing to complain about. It's a good Valentine's Day showing. And you get, what's that weird space Transformer that looks like a UFO?
Oh, Unicron?
No, not Unicron. I'd know if it was Unicron.
Oh, a UFO.
Yeah. What's his name?
That's what's coming to my head, man.
Duraker? No, that's not his name. His name is Cosmos. I should have known. I'm so stupid.
Oh my God.
Anyways, did I have a good time with it? Yes, I had a good time with it. Do I think that the Tap Out name is stupid? Yes. Yes, I do. But it's good. He just shouldn't look like Hound. Go draw him something else. But anyways, so yeah, come pick it up. Next is issue 1, Nebula, and wow. Okay, so Nebula found out that there's a probability invention, an invention that it basically looks at the probability and odds of all situations and measures them out. And it's called the All-Seer. So of course, Nebula being Nebula, decides with any means, in any way she possibly can, she's got to get this installed in her body. So, yeah, that goes about as expected. Yeah. So it's like holding an infinity gem, it's pretty much, it's too powerful, but you can't stop. So, yeah, that's what we're getting. It sort of feels at times like Nebula Unleashed, and at times like, a monkey's paw. And I think that's what they were going for. So, Vita Ayala, Claire Rowe, and Mike Spicer, good showing, guys. There's nothing to complain about. The art was good. It was a fun run. It felt like it should feel. It felt like a Nebula book. I have nothing to complain about. Next is Superman Heroes, and, okay. They've put out this book to sort of set the stage of what happens next. What happens after Superman has admitted who he is? He's given up his secret identity. What do the other heroes do? Are they going to follow suit? Is it going to change the world? How is it going to change the world? And it's a bunch of separate stories. And it feels a lot like All-Star Superman, which is a good thing in my opinion. You get all these separate stories, and they're all told, and some of them are lighthearted. Most of them are lighthearted. I will say that some of the art in the beginning of the book I could not stand. Did not like at all. And you'll see, trust me, you pick it up, you'll turn to the first few pages, you'll see. If it's your jam, you might like it. I didn't like it at all. That said, that arc does not continue. It's a bunch of separate stories, and it gets a bit better. I don't know what it is. Just one of the ways that Superman was drawn did not have the details fleshed out, I guess, on his frame. It just looked weird.
Too much emphasis on the light.
Yeah, too much light, not enough shadow. Okay. That aside, that little complaint aside, the book is great, and for $5.99, you do get an awful lot of story in this book, and most of them are touching. They do have all the heroes lined up and they're talking to Superman about what they think about him admitting that he's Clark Kent, and it's sort of going down the line, and other people are like, whoa, I couldn't do that, and this and that. It cuts the Swamp Thing, and he's just like, and it just goes past. It's
Swamp Thing
so
don't care.
I love Swampy so much. So yeah, as a DC fan, I had a really, really good time with this book. You will not complain. Trust me, you'll have a good time with it. Well, you might. I don't know. I want somebody else to check out the art and tell me what they think about those first few pages. It just felt off. It's still good. Next is Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, and of course, this is the DC Black Label. And okay. I will tell you, I had a really good time with it. It was fun. It was exciting. I laughed the whole way through. I'm confused, though. It felt like they mashed the movie up with the Harley animated series. It felt weird. It was still funny. It was very over the top, very adult. But go figure, DC Black Label. It is like an adult Saturday morning cartoon. So if you really like the Harley TV series on the DC, what is it called?
DCU?
DC Universe app, you will have a really, really good time with this book. If you like Birds of Prey, the movie, you're gonna get mostly those characters. Granted, I'm not happy that Orphan Cassandra Cain is not Orphan in the comics, because she is an amazing fighter and stuff like that, and I've heard that in the movie she's not, which is kind of a bummer. There are other complaints too that I've heard across the board, but if you like Birds of Prey and you like Harley, you will have a good time with this book, I promise you. So yeah. Next is Go and No Go, so we'll push through these as quick as we can. Harrow County, Go. This story's awesome. They've gone from haints to goblins to goblin mystical songs. It's fun. Joe Hill House with Dollhouse Family, issue 4. Go. This storyline is twisted. Obviously, Joe Hill, you know what you get. You get a very twisted writer. It's good. Lady Mechanica. I don't know anything about the Lady Mechanica universe, and I picked up on this issue. But Go. It was pretty good. There's a bunch of vampires and a bunch of steampunkish fights and other weirdness. I didn't really know what was going on, so I don't think you should pick up with this book. But it was still pretty good. Go. Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man. Honestly, what was the original book called?
It was, oh man, that's a good question. Was it just Dragonfly?
It's two universes. They're basically Batman, and one's the gritty, and the other one's the campy Batman 66. But they're Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man.
I can't remember.
Go. It's pretty good. I had a good time with it, but Go. Arrow. Go. This was probably the best of the issues. She's fleshing out her powers in different ways. It was kind of fun. Go. Excalibur 7. I will say, if you like fantasy and X-Men, Go. If you're anyone else, no Go. Although, if you like Mr. and Mrs. X, totally Go. Because really, this feels like Mr. and Mrs. X Part 2. With a dash of Lord of the Rings. Rhode Island. Go. There's nothing to complain about still. You get the back and forth political samurai war. It's fun. Go. And monsters. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. You shouldn't start on the last issue, but it was still really, really good. It was a great fight. I had a good time. I'm glad with the wrap-up. Go. Bloodshot, number 6. Go. And I'm saying that as someone who's not a giant Valiant fan. I'm a pretty good Valiant fan, but it was pretty good. Go. Morbius, the living vampire. Sad face. no go. It's it's the same thing. It's like, oh, Morbius, my powers are out of control. I need to learn how to tame this and get past this or cure myself. But he's been doing it for 4 issues. I'm bored. Yeah. Flash 88. Go. There's kind of a new villain and kind of an old favorite. His name starts with G. I wouldn't say old because he didn't come out until Rebirth. But his name starts with G. Yeah. Who could it be? Black Panther, Agents of Wakanda versus the Livewires. Go. Honestly, at times this should just be called the another Deadpool book, but it was funny. Go. Hawkeye, Freefall. Go. Granted, I'm kind of a Rosenberg fan, but I'm having a really good time with this series. It's funny. Go. Iron Man 2020. I'm still weirded out by Arno's outfit, but it's still kind of cool. It's an AI uprising, and Arno's versus the AI. It's okay. Go. Napoleon Dynamite Valentine's Day Special. Well, you're gonna get Tina in this issue. So as long as you get an angry Tina, eat your dinner, Tina. Go. It's great. It's like the Napoleon Dynamite movie. It's great. Gwen Stacy, issue number 1. I like the art, but I'm not the target audience for this book. So I feel like if I was a gal, I would probably have a really good time with this book. But I'm not a gal, and the Gwen Stacy I like is Ghost Spider, so I'm sorry. But for a guy, maybe it's a no-go. For a gal, it's probably go. Last book, Catwoman, the claws are out, and I don't know, let's see, do you want to see Catwoman fight zombies?
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of do. It was a pretty good showing, so go. And that's most of the show. We gotta do the drawing. Let's see who wins posters. Do we have enough posters?
I hope so. If not, you get a sketch, and if not, dollar comic. Remember? Yeah.
273.
All right, that's gonna be Marty Martinez.
Oh, Marty Martinez.
Yeah.
106.
106, and that is going to be Altamista.
Altamista. I love when Al wins. 461.
461, and that is gonna be Mary Padilla.
Mary Padilla, you won a poster, and that's our show for this week. To death.